Well, welcome to my new office. For those of you that haven't seen it, it's a lot larger than the one I had. So, topic that's come up since we are looking at school time is after school care. And after school care is kind of a complex topic because it really depends on how many hours you're working, how many days a week you're working, how busy your child's after school schedule might be, and what your overall focus of after school care would be. So you need to think of all those variables when you look at after school care. What are you really looking for and shopping for? With a lot of our kiddos, if you have a child that's got pretty significant deficits, sometimes a traditional after school program is not going to be optimal for you because it's set up to be in a group setting. So if your child's going to need one-on-one because they might run or there might be behaviors or compliance issues, you're going to be presented with some different variables you have to consider in after school care. But many of our sensory kids very successfully go to after school care programs without an issue, but it's helpful if you share that information with the caregivers that are going to be working with your child. Whatever particular quirks or things that work best for your child, I would definitely share that information. I know a lot of times we don't want to share that information because we want that to be private, but it's in the interest of your child and your child's success. And I think if you meet with the school and talk to the right people, that can still be kept fairly private, but it allows the people that are working with your child to understand what might make them happy or sad, or how to receive certain information or what to avoid. So that's one thing I consider for our sensory kids. For our kids with more severe issues, what you have to look at is their ability to participate in a group. So if they're not able to participate in a group really well, that's going to affect your decisions on childcare. Many of the public schools offer after school care. It fills up rather quickly. They tend to be, generally speaking, depending on your district, pretty good with understanding the needs of our children with special needs. As long as they're not on the milder to moderate side, they should be able to accommodate them in that setting. Again, it is set up with groups. It is younger people running those programs typically, so you want to consider that when you're making your decision. If you have a child that has got a very busy schedule in therapies during the afternoon and into the evening, typically most of the families here have gone with hiring somebody to work one-on-one with your child. There might be other children in the home that don't have special needs, and that person can help with those kiddos also. But the one-on-one or nanny type of situation has worked best for many of our families because that nanny or care provider is able to bring them to all their therapies. They're able to interact with the providers. They're able to make sure they safely get picked up from school, that their work gets done. You're also able to customize a care plan in a lot of detail for that kind of provider. And you can set up whatever role or boundaries you want to have or you want that person to be doing, so that when you come home from work, many of those things are already done, and they're done in a style that you would prefer. So it really depends on your schedule, the amount of work you're doing, your child and your child's particular issues, and what you feel would be optimal for your family. Those are the things you have to consider when you're making those decisions. So one thing I want to caution you of is don't just stick your child in a program and hope it works. Usually that creates a lot of difficulties for the kiddos and for the school environment they're in. I would be fairly candid with the people working with your kids, and anybody that's able to care for a child with more significant issues should have paperwork that you have to fill out that's very detailed about the needs of your child. So that's just a few points about after school care. I always recommend networking with other parents. We have some providers listed on our resource drive and some places that we can share for you to look. But I think the best is just that parent interaction. So best of luck with finding childcare.